here on the Helix Bridge in Singapore, about to head into the Milipol exhibition, which takes place just here at the Sands Exhibition Centre. Should be a fantastic few days. Very much looking forward to meeting a whole range of exhibitors, speakers and delegates.
Hi, my name is Svend Janssen. I'm Nuix Vice President for the Greater Asia and Japan region. And Nuix has always understood themselves as being a force for good, serving law enforcement agencies for more than 20 years. It has been a very logical step to be at Milipol, which obviously is the leading event in the world for anything related to the greater needs of law enforcement agencies all around. And we're very happy to do this here in Singapore because we are actually having our APEC office, if you like, in Singapore. We're being headquartered in Australia. We are launching a new investigations platform that helps particularly police agencies, anybody related, to come from vast volumes of unstructured data as quickly as possible, as efficient as possible, and as valid as possible to the needle in the haystack and the piece of evidence that is relevant.
Hello, this is Fejes from Innovatrics, and we are here at Milipol Singapore 2024. We are here as Innovatrics is a company helping law enforcement agencies by providing top-ranked, world-class biometric software solutions for criminal investigation and forensics as well. Innovatrics is an independent European company based in Slovakia with top-ranked biometric software technology recognized by all the relevant NIST benchmarks. Recently, we've been ranked on top 1, 2 or 3 places, which is obviously very impressive, and this is obviously one of the reasons why our customers, law enforcement agencies mostly, choose us and also decide to stay with us. Innovatrics is an independent company which gives us a lot of flexibility and allows us to be very agile and responsive when dealing with our customers, which gives us a very unique market position, as the market landscape is not huge. There's up to 4 or 5 companies with such capabilities, Innovatrics being one of them. Thank you very much.
Minister for Communications and Information and Second Minister for Home Affairs Singapore and Her Excellencies.
Hi there, this is Tham from Accenture Singapore. Very glad to be here for the Milipol event today, and we do a lot of work, Accenture Singapore, in the field of public safety, and this is going to be an amazing event for us to witness this collaboration between France, Singapore and the global.
My name is Vincent Bouatou. I'm Deputy CTO for our IDEMIA Public Security Division, and we're here at Milipol exposing our different solutions for law enforcement agencies. Milipol Asia is something very important for IDEMIA because Asia-Pacific is a very significant region for our business, and it's also very important for us to be here specifically because there are specificities to the region and the way law enforcement agencies approach use of technology within their daily operations, which is very specific and that cannot necessarily be replicated elsewhere. As you can see, if you walk around the place of the exhibition, you will see many different use of artificial intelligence for policing, and that's where also we bring something very fresh and new to the table, in the sense that we have been using artificial intelligence even before it was called artificial intelligence. We've been developing artificial intelligence solutions for more than 35 years. But it's only been accelerating recently. So now we're using artificial intelligence, of course, for our bread and butter applications, which are biometric identification solution to help law enforcement agencies solve crimes faster, easier, and with more efficiency. There's one thing very specific with what we're doing, which is there are international benchmarks that actually measure performance, and we're very happy that we usually come out leaders within these technology benchmarks, but we're also using artificial intelligence in other applications that we do. Video analytics, border control, and one very important thing about artificial intelligence is that you need it to be fair and you need it to be explainable, especially in the frame of its use by law enforcement agencies. And that's also where we differentiate in IDEMIA, because for the last 20 years probably, we've been highly focused on making sure our biometric algorithms are totally fair, which means they do not make more mistakes with any different demographic group, and that's very important to us. But also, they're explainable. We've been working to make sure that whoever is using our biometric algorithms understands how they work, why they are outputting the result that they are outputting, so that it can be interpreted in the most safe way on the field.
So Weytec has been serving and supporting operators in control rooms over the world, all 300,000 of them at any one time. For them, the concerns is always the same, ever-changing and ever-expanding set of parameters, but always a declining or limited number of people and manpower. So I think that's where Weytec can play a role in helping the operators make better decisions based on the information at the right place at the right time.
So I'm General Patrick Perrott. I'm responsible for AI in the French Gendarmerie, and I'm the AI consider for the cyber command for the Ministry of Interior. Yesterday you saw our Minister of the Interior in this conference. That's very important for us because we have some connection with Singapore. We have some connection with Milipol. We have conference of Milipol in France every 2 years and another one in Singapore. So we are very connected on the question of high technology, on the question of cybercrime, on the question of artificial intelligence with Singapore's police. And what is important also for us is to be connected with industries. And here we have, for instance, some French company like IDEMIA, like Thales, and some other one to fight against drone, for instance. Because, as you know, we have the Olympic Games in the next summer, and that's very important to use high technology to protect our citizens. Today, I'm going to make a presentation on the role of artificial intelligence in the field of cybercrime. That's very important to connect AI and in the cyberspace, because the threat is more and more important and it evaluates at a very high speed. For the law enforcement agency, it's very important to be at the rendezvous of AI to protect population and to use it also in the physical world as well as in the cyberspace.
So Milipol APAC is one of the premier summits or exhibition expos where we have decided to participate for the last very many years, and we have seen that one of the topmost security challenges that the world is facing today and the intelligence agencies are facing today is around investigation of data gone dark and gathering intelligence from data gone dark for ensuring public safety. And that's exactly what ClearTrail does. We provide intelligence and investigative technologies to federal and state intelligence agencies worldwide, and particularly we deliver intelligence from data gone dark. And I think it's been a great summit for us so far, and we look forward to understanding the needs and the challenges of law enforcement and intelligence agencies all over the world, and figure out collaboratively how our technologies can help them make the world a safer place. Thank you.
So hi, HTX, the X in Home Team Science and Technology Agency, stands for Exponentially Impacting and Singapore's Safety and Security.
The X also represents the force multiplier of the Home Team.
And in very literal terms, the X is the Roman numeral 10 because we were the 10th agency under the Ministry of Home Affairs.
HTX largely focuses on projects that cover the 5 S's of solving crimes, securing borders, safeguarding public spaces, seeding innovation, and saving lives.
And the work we do ranges from software and hardware. So for some of the really exciting software work that we do is things like being on the bleeding edge of AI and looking at things like language models and vision models to try and see how we can use them to solve crimes on the daily.
We also look at things like automation and robotics, exciting things such as our cybernetic cockroach, as well as counter drones.
Yeah, so that is what HTX is about.
Yeah, Bernard, great to be here at Milipol Asia. Same topics, different city, and it's great to be part of your police network. And great event here. We've got a really good mix of end users, the industry, exhibitors, and a lot of topics around data-centric communications. TCCA is involved in ensuring that the connectivity that agencies like this use support the sorts of functionality that they're looking at delivering to their end users, all around situational awareness, all around delivery of voice data, video services. TCCA is involved in ensuring that's standardised within the 4G, 5G, and ultimately as 6G comes along, we'll try and make sure that these critical industries are supported in terms of that connectivity. And it's also evolving from not just terrestrial networks to non-terrestrial, where there's big interest from public safety, public protection and disaster response. Really important that events like this, we get the information exchange going between all of the stakeholders, from end user to the industry players and the network providers that are being engaged by governments to deliver this capability to their agencies. So we look forward to sharing these sorts of events. We have our event in Dubai, 14 to 16 of May, where international players will come into Dubai from across the world to again opportunity to exchange information, have a look at the innovations, look at how they can then be translated into operational deployments over coming years. So we're looking forward to seeing that community in Dubai, and we thank our hosts in Dubai for hosting our Critical Comms World 2024.
Just like the weather outside, it is amazingly hot here at Milipol Asia-Pac, and Cellebrite is so excited to be here. We are showcasing our case to closure platform, where we help law enforcement find the evidence that they need so they can access the evidence, they can investigate, and then they can share it from end to end. We are providing our law enforcement partners an end-to-end platform for providing to solve the cases that they need to.
I'm delighted to be joined by Undersecretary Dimitri Kusnezov of the US Department of Homeland Security. Dimitri, thank you so much for
my pleasure.
Giving time to Policing TV here in Singapore at Milipol. Tell me what it was that has brought you here.
You know, I think the changing pace of technology around us today is staggering. It's entering our lives in so many ways, and it's impacting law enforcement equally in complex ways. And trying to find our way through this is a remarkable challenge. And partner countries like Singapore and the US is one of the ways we do to draw technologies into practice, to understand what other countries are thinking. I maintain bilateral relationships with many countries, and Singapore is one of our strong partners.
There's quite an initiative that was set out a little earlier on that Singapore have been leading that also involves the US. Can you tell us something about that?
We've got a number of them. You know, I think technology is such an integral part of everything. You'll see it here at the airport at Changi when you come in, the touchless screening, kind of forward-leaning into biometrics. You see it in their operations and their use of drones around the country for surveillance with tethered drones. It's in so many places, and I think core to how you do law enforcement today. It has to be.
So one of the initiatives set out earlier, which I think goes under the acronym HTX, it's the bringing together of the different departments that relates to Singaporean Homeland Security, and the involvement in that, not just of the US, but also various other suppliers as well. So that's just one example then of many that you're aware of.
Oh yeah, so HTX is really the entry point into conversations here in Singapore with the equivalent of Homeland Security or the Home Office in the UK. And so these are rough equivalents. HTX looks to draw technology into the law enforcement space. The missions aren't exactly the same, and it's country dependent in what's under the hood in terms of the definition of Homeland Security. But I think there's enough intersection of interests that these relationships make strong sense.
So at the heart of Policing Insight and Policing TV is the determination to share good and excellent policing with those across the world, wherever that excellence has developed in the world. So plenty of examples here in Singapore. I know for a fact that there will be many, many examples that originate in the US as well. Are there any of those that you're able to speak about that come immediately to mind as examples of good and great practice that could benefit from further sharing worldwide?
I think there are a lot of places where we have been compelled to use technology to help with law enforcement actions. With investigations related to child sexual exploitation, something which is really transnational. The biggest modality of this in the U.S. is U.S. men with traffickers that are Philippine women and children in the Philippines. And so it's already transnational. And you find this in many kinds of criminality. Technology allows you to cross borders and do things that really was not possible in the past. In transactions, financial transactions in cryptocurrency, you don't have to take bulk amounts of money and carry them anywhere. You can do this in fairly invisible ways. A lot of things now are changing because of technology, and consequently using the same tools to try and disentangle criminal networks, to try and figure out the financial ties, to find out where drug labs are, to understand who's on the no-fly list. All of this is rich with technology need.
And so that sharing of insights, skills, technology, cross-border is a key part of tackling criminality worldwide, I guess.
Yes, because you find the actors everywhere. It's too easy to do things anywhere in the globe these days. Technology is really democratized. It's available to anybody. The threshold is increasingly lower and lower. The functionality is more and more. And you can do a lot of things today that wasn't conceivable without state actors in the past. Disinformation campaigns, how do you sway populations? In the city of Chicago, in policing, the use of social networks to gather and do things in mob-like ways is common practice there. But law enforcement doesn't have the authority to monitor social network traffic for those purposes. And so there's this mismatch in terms of what people can do through technology and what enforcement is allowed. That is, also a growing gap. And the more commonality of best practices, of approaches to some of these problems, which are basically everywhere, the better off we're going to be. But people are clever with these technologies, and you have to keep pace.
Well, Undersecretary Kusnezov, thank you so much for your time for Policing TV. There's a lot more ground I suspect we could cover, and should there be a future opportunity, I'd very much welcome covering that with you. But for the time being, Undersecretary, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. This is great. It's great to see you.
Hi, I'm Divya Khangarot. I'm the General Manager for Axon, and we are here at Milipol. Axon is a market leader in providing national security devices to law enforcement agencies and defense globally. It's our mission to reduce the gun-related violence by 50% in the next 10 years. We also work with leading law enforcement agencies around the world in providing modern-day policing tools and keeping our cities safe. John, would you like to share a little bit about our products?
Absolutely. The Axon ecosystem comprises of multiple devices and services, such as the Taser 10 and Axon Body 4, which are connected to our ecosystem and provide our customers the latest in public safety, as well as the ability to be able to maintain trust and public trust around the world.
Well, it's been quite a few days here in Singapore at the Milipol exhibition. Thank you to all the speakers, delegates and exhibitors who spoke to me during the course of the past few days. It's cheerio, for the time being at least, from Singapore.